Today we're going to be taking a look at 5 mods that make Garry's mod even more realistic. Everything from making explosions even more deadly, to making ladder climbing actually look somewhat believable. All of this and more is going to be in today's video, so let's get started with the 5 realistic mods that you should add to your Garry's mod. Alright, first things first, we have the realistic explosions. So there's a lot of mods that change explosions to make them look more realistic, but this one is going to make them act more realistic. Now by that I mean, of course, when you throw a frag grenade, it's going to shoot out, well, fragments, obviously from the name, into your body if you're too close. And, well, we've seen what the standard Half-Life 2 grenade does. Let's just say it's pretty pathetic, the range on this, but this is going to look to change that. So now, you're going to get fragments, as you can hear from the sound, and from the fact that we're missing 25 health. These pieces of shrapnel can hit you from up to 200 meters away, so now you're gonna have to really chuck that grenade to make sure that you're not going to get hit. So one thing I really like about this is that not only do you get the sound effect to kind of let you know that, well, it is happening, but thankfully it's not too crazy. So obviously, you know, if you throw a grenade like, say, this far, then you're probably still going to be safe, but a little bit closer, and you're going to notice that things start to get deadly. Alright, so to be fair, it's hard to tell if that would have killed him anyway. By the way, you're going to notice some bleeding. That's obviously going to be one of the next mods we take a look at, but for now, let's go ahead and just see. Alright, it's safe to say that none of that was the fragments. Alright, this goes perfectly into the next mod, and that's going to be the bleed out system. So this works not only for NPCs, but also for players. Obviously, we are starting to bleed out, but when a player or an NPC gets to critical health, you're going to hear this blood sound, and you're going to start to see blood drips coming out of their body. You're also going to see that their health is slowly going down every single second. Now, something that I thought was really cool is that, well, enemies made out of metal will not bleed, so obviously the manhack is not going to bleed. Just a cool little touch and a bit more realism thrown in. Now obviously, you know, we're going to die. In fact, our desk is going to die right here. As you can see, his health hits 0 any second. There we go. You're also going to notice this weird kind of fading effect which happens, and that is indicated by the fact that we lost 1 point of health. But don't worry, because all is not lost. If you pick up a med kit, you can heal yourself from the bleeding ailments, which is again pretty damn realistic. Now the blood trails you leave behind is also a good indicator of where you are, so if someone's trying to kill you, they can follow your blood trails, and well, I think you know the rest. Alright, going back to Odessa for just a moment here, and this is going to be very, very useful. So you guys have seen me complain about running animations, how they're not super great in Garry's mod. Well, this one thankfully is looking to change that. Now you can see we got proper running animations. So now Odessa no longer looks like he has a stick up his ass. Instead, he looks like he has a stick up his ass, but, well, running. Alright, in all fairness, it does look pretty awesome. Definitely a pretty good improvement compared to the original. It just has more character to it, you know? Now, unfortunately, sometimes there are moments where he'll be walking sideways. In fact, he was just doing it right there, but he'll do that the entire time. I'm gonna see if I can trigger it. Alright, so it looks like he doesn't want to do it, but for the most part, it's a good animation, and I really do like it more than the original. Now, unfortunately, it does only work for NPCs, which means that we're going to be stuck with the standard, oh, you better be sorry, bro. It does get me excited that maybe in the future we could have something like this for players. However, there is one animation that I think we've all been waiting for that does work on players, and that is, of course, the ladder climbing animation. Oh. Hold on a sec. So unfortunately, it does not work on any ladder from the ladder tool. I did even try every single one. It only works for specific ladders. So in order to properly showcase this mod, we gotta move on to a map with a ladder built in. Alright, so naturally, of course, I pick Half-Life 2 because, well, why not? So you're gonna notice that now when we get up here and climb the ladder, something magical is going to happen. And what is that? If I can... magic. Alright, so this this is not supposed to be how this goes. Unfortunately, we have an issue here. Alright, so that was not a good representation, so I downloaded a really cool map that has a lot of ladders. In fact, it even says so in the description. So the first thing you're going to notice in first person is when you walk up to a ladder, you're going to put your weapon away and you're going to climb it. Now that is a good indicator. That means that it should be working, at least in theory. Now in order to really see for sure though, of course you're going to have to see it in third person using a camera. Look at that. That is pretty damn sick. So from the back, it looks pretty good. Definitely way better than the standard one. But you're gonna notice as you start to climb up that from the side, it doesn't look quite as good because you're kind of just hovering. But when you do get all the way to the top, there's even kind of like a little bit of a get-up animation, which I think is really cool. Let's see that again. You can see, very slowly, we get up over the ledge, and then finally, you know, with some Gmod jank thrown in, get to the top. Alright, so the final one that we'll be taking a look at today is going to be a mod that is probably the most useless, but also the most interesting. We got leaking barrels. That's right, guys. We're finally talking about it. I mentioned this quite a long time ago, and I wanted to do a video on it. And today is finally that day. So I tried to fit this into my schedule, but I did not want to make a 5-6 minute video on barrels that leak. Even though it is cool, it's really nothing too crazy. I mean, you can even see the puddle that it makes. So obviously this is a standard barrel, and it's filled with water. As you shoot it, it does leak. And the cool thing is, if I can actually get this to work, so it is important to note that every time you shoot the barrel, there is a chance it'll spill, but there's also a chance that it won't. And you can adjust this in the console through some commands. As we can see, we're getting pretty much nothing from this, because this barrel is, well, empty. But if we spawn this barrel in, this one is definitely not. Now I wonder, can you actually, like, track the puddle? Unfortunately, I don't think you can, but that's where the next one comes in. That's right, we got the explosive barrel, and this one can leak. And not only does it leak, it is also explosive. So it's safe to say that this is not water. Wait, actually, is this? Alright, we're gonna do a bit of a test here. So I did ignite this. Can we set this puddle on fire? And it's safe to say that no, we cannot. Actually, that is not true, because when you do shoot, okay, well that is, oh god. When you do shoot an explosive barrel, there is a chance that it can also ignite at the same time. And theoretically, if you do shoot the puddle, you can ignite it, which I think is what we just did. Alright, let's try this again. So we can see it is not ignited, and shooting the puddle does ignite it, although I did expect the actual puddle to also ignite. But there you guys have it. Those are 5 mods that make Garry's mod just that much more realistic. One of my favorites personally is the explosive barrels. I like that it doesn't happen all the time, although I do wish that you actually did ignite the actual puddle. But guys, let me know your favorite realistic mod. I would love to know down below. You can also leave a suggestion down there, as well as in the Discord page in the description. You can find all the mods used in this video in the description as well. Thank you guys so much for watching until the end, and until next time, farewell.